So pathogens, talking about, we just went through the pathogen pit stops. That has to do with these diseases that harm living things. So being sick can really get you. This is one of our little jokes that we use in life science. First slide, this will be on your notes, folks. So get your note sheet out. Half the screen should be your notes, half the screen should be me. Internal causes. There's a blank. Genetic diseases. Genetic diseases. They are, excuse me, two causes. There are two causes of diseases. One cause is an internal cause, which is Down syndrome, hemophilia, and then there's the external causes, which are environmental factors. So you fill those in your notes. Let's skip down to microorganisms. Okay, microorganisms. So you already saw all four different types in your pathogen pit stops. We got our virus, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. All microorganisms are so small that they can only be seen with a microscope. Okay, let's talk about one of these things that's underlined on this sheet of paper. Oops, let's go back. Viruses are not microorganisms, it says. It's talking about viruses, since they are a little bit smaller than a microscope. You can only see those with an electron scope. So which means they're even tinier than a microscope. They're smaller. So they are not microorganisms. And then your last, it says microorganisms are small organisms that can only be seen with a microscope. Yes, you know that already. Now let's skip to the pathogens. Pathogen is any agent, any living or non-living thing that causes disease. Pathogens. So you can always pause me throughout this video if I'm going too fast, too slow. So this is your pace. You create it on your own, make your own pace. Now, here's what the fun part is. You can check out these little videos that I've attached at the end, the beginning, in the middle, whenever you want. It's up to you, your choice. But I'm going to keep moving forward for the purposes of this video. I'm going to keep moving and zipping through. Viruses, they are non-living. Sorry, anytime you see an image like this, that means there's a video attached to it, okay? The video that's attached to this is, again, back on the classroom, on the stream, right underneath the assignment. If you want to check that out, you can. If you don't, that's your prerogative. That's whatever you want to do. Sorry, let's go back to viruses are non-living. They need a host to reproduce. They cannot respond to changes in their environment. They do not grow. Therefore, they're not living. Remember our conversation at the beginning of the year, growth, development, and repair. We talked about things that that are alive, can move. These things need something living in order to survive. They contain genetic material. They come in many sizes and shapes. Very, very small. Like I said, one 10,000th the size of a bacteria cell. So that means you can only see them with electron scope, basically, which is like a microscope times 10,000 small. So we're getting down to almost the size of a molecule. I mean, really, really, really small. So let's move on from viruses into viruses multiply inside living cells. And here's how they do it. Step 1, the virus attaches to the cell, a living thing. Step 2, a virus is going to inject its DNA to change the cell, essentially. Okay, it's going to try to change the cell so it can take it away. And number 3, it's going to assemble the cell, and then eventually it's going to overwhelm the cell and then release and kill the cell. That's what a virus does. So it attaches itself, it injects its DNA, its copy of its instructions. It produces and produces and produces, makes a bunch of copies. They assemble, and then they release because there's so much going on in the cell that it cannot take it anymore. So harmful virus-causing problems, essentially. Diseases caused by viruses, colds, AIDS, polio, smallpox, diphtheria, influenza, those are some examples, can affect plants, animals, and bacteria. Viruses and vaccines, there are no cures for viruses. Doctors use vaccines to prevent people from getting sick from harmful viruses. That's what they're there for. We take our flu shot in the fall to prevent ourselves from getting really, really sick from different pathogens out there. A vaccine contains small amounts of weakened or dead pathogens that stimulate an immune response, which means they tell our immune system to go fight that disease. That's what it does. You can be vaccinated at any age, and you need to stay up to date with your vaccinations. That's why the school makes you finish your vaccinations in middle school, then makes you do all those things. So we're all safe. We have all our vaccinations, so we cannot spread the disease if there is one. Again, this is one of those screens that you can flip back to the main Google Classroom stream. Check out a video on vaccines if you want. Your choice, not my choice. I can't do this because the videos would be too long. Prevention methods. So this is how we prevent getting those things. We are going to keep all that we can in the Kleenex when we blow our nose. Throw it away. Wash your hands. Keep everything in the Kleenex. Throw it away. Wash your hands. That's rinse, 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 lather, and repeat. That'll help a ton. So let's skip to, we're going to go to bacteria now. Bacteria. So as you can see on this young man, this is kind of what it's like on your skin if we've zoomed in on a microscope. This is a lot of different bacteria sitting on your, that's why we need to wash our hands. That's why they tell you to wash your hands when you go to the bathroom. Super important. Bacteria, they are living, but they're prokaryotic. They have no nucleus. They are unicellular, and they can be both autotrophic and heterotrophic. Depends on the bacteria. They're all a little bit different. Disease-causing bacteria are heterotrophic. So if they're disease ones, they need to feed off of others. Heterotrophic means that they need to get food from others. Autotrophic means that you can produce your own food. So heterotrophic bacteria are more than likely disease-causing bacteria. All right, so bacteria, most are helpful. 99% of them are. Few are harmful, 1%. A tiny percentage are harmful. So most bacteria are good for us. They can be spread through food, water, and air. Come in 3 different shapes: spiral, spirella, or basilia, or it's called koshi. Okay. But the basic shapes essentially are spiral, rod, and round. Okay. Bacteria preventions and cures, as you say. They can be prevented with vaccines and treated with antibiotics. Vaccines, remember, we do to prepare for those things. Antibiotics are the things that we use to treat those diseases. You can prevent the spread of bacteria by simply using this method. Catch whatever you catch into the Kleenex, throw it away, lather and rinse your hands very well. So now back to you can go back to the stream and check out the bacteria video if you want. Your choice. Bacteria versus viruses. So 3 characteristics of a virus. You choose any one of these 3. They're non-living. They can be vaccinated. Needs a host cell. Harmful and helpful. Smaller than bacteria, so they're tiny. Bacteria, living. Vaccines and antibiotics can help kill bacteria. Very harmful still. They're a lot bigger than a virus, 10,000 times the size of a virus, and has a cell wall. Remember, prokaryotic though, no nucleus. So here's some other different things you can write down in characteristics. Your choice. You want to pause the screen and take a look. Use those for your examples. Fine with me. I'll leave that up to you. Some fun facts, so to speak. Here's what one looks like for a virus. This is more of like an electron. Kind of looks like a spider, but it's not a spider. Essentially, it doesn't have the capability of moving that much. So let's move to fungi. So I'm going to zip through fungi. This is a little bit quicker. Fungi can live on you, essentially. They're eukaryotic, which means they have a nucleus. They're heterotrophic, unicellular and multicellular, can be helpful and harmful, can be used to make antibiotics. Many produce harmful chemicals, and then can cause disease in humans. Again, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause me, rewind me, whatever the case is. This is your notes. You do with them as you please to get your assignment done. Fungal infections, that's what ringworm looks like. Athlete foot is a very common one. Treatments, creams and ointments, antifungals. Parasites. So here's a little parasite joke you can read, pause, and check it out if you want. If not, let's keep moving. How parasites are spread. Insect bites are very popular. Animal feces, walking barefoot. Make sure you wear sandals, especially in the summer, folks. Handling raw meat. Raw meat is when you handle your raw meat and you're not washing your hands afterwards, you're keeping all those parasites on your hands. And then you're eating with those things so that you ingest those parasites. Make sure you wash your hands anytime you cut up food in general, any food. Eating raw or uncooked pork, beef, or fish. Contaminated raw fruits and vegetables. When you eat contaminated raw fruits and vegetables. Eating meals prepared by a contaminated person. Drinking contaminated water. We don't have to worry about this one that often. We do, however, need to worry about these two folks. That's why they are so strict on health codes in restaurants, because we want to make sure we're eating safe food. Examples of parasites: tapeworm, hookworm, lice, malaria. These are going to be some options on your disease presentations coming up here this Friday, or Thursday or Friday this week. If it's not Thursday or Friday, then we'll do it shortly after. Insect bites and malaria are some more common methods of parasitism. Mosquitoes are the big ones, folks. Parasites can latch into mosquitoes. Mosquitoes bite us. It lays dormant for a while, and then it attacks us, essentially. Read the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and you'll see how malaria spreads and how it moves throughout your body. Preventions. So we cook food entirely. We wash hands after raw meats, wash fruits and vegetables. We don't eat sand from sandboxes. That's an easy one. We make sure our water is safe. We wash our hands, and after cleaning the litter box, all those things we need to do for sure. Now on to the worst, in my opinion, the worst of diseases: cancer. Disorder that affects the cell cycle, which means the way cells reproduce. Mitosis we've talked about, meiosis we've talked about. This is what happens in cancer. Not a single disorder, rather than a group of disorders. Which means it's not just one thing. It could be many different types of things. It is the controlled division of cells, which means cancer can take over an area and then overproduce like crazy. They can spread to various tissues. The cells are selfish. They'll do whatever they want and whatever they can do to survive. Cancer cells become immortal. They can continue to divide. Okay? They will just continue to divide like crazy. Most are caused by cell mutations during a person's lifetime. So something happens when your cell divides, or it mutates, and it creates a cancerous cell. A lot of these can be genetic. It doesn't mean it's